Aloha, this is Emily Thoreau-Threat, host of the Grief and Happiness podcast. Every Friday, I share with you my love notes, giving you a little something to think about as you navigate your grief journey, finding happiness expanding along your way. Every Tuesday, I post my regular podcast, sharing wonderful conversations with people you can relate to and offer you encouraging ideas and helpful inspiration. And I invite you to our Grief and Happiness Alliance gatherings for free every week on Zoom. Information provided in the show notes. Aloha. My podcast for you today is Freedom from Problems. Often when grieving and dealing with loss, we feel like life is, in general, one big problem. We spend our days navigating from one problem to the next. We think, if only I could go visit with friends. If only I could keep my home clean. If only I had something constructive to do. If only I could get into an exercise routine. And on and on and on. You think that once all these problems are solved, you can be happy. You can relax. You won't have any more problems. But is that true? Not really. I lived a lot of my life in the if-only zone. If only I had a degree, if only I had more money, if only I had a wonderful relationship, if only I had another degree, if only I had my own theater and school of arts. Each time I accomplished one of these things, the next one was there waiting. Does this sound familiar to you? You may be living in the if-only zone too. I hear you saying, but I really want all those things I'm saying if only about. And if I'm not saying you can't have them. When you focus on something, when you give all your attention to it, the result is for it to take more and more of your energy. And then you have less and less energy to devote to everything else in your life. The key here is balance. When I decided to get a master's degree, it consumed more and more of my energy until I wasn't focusing on anything else. I spent less and less time with my family. I cooked less. I didn't participate in organizations I loved. I was lost in books, writing, and studying. While I ultimately reached my goal, the process was grueling, and I was kind of miserable, which affected those I loved most. Reflecting, I see how I could have taken more time to get my degree, which would have allowed me more time for what I loved and what I was missing out on. Here is how I handled the situation now with something. And when I was dealing with grief after Ron died, I did a lot of writing, and I was inspired to write a book. My intention was to provide comfort, support, love, and happiness to people dealing with loss. I completed the book. Then without any effort, I discovered who my agent was supposed to be. We discussed the kind of publisher we wanted, and we started researching. Instead of spending lots of time on getting a publisher, I set my intention to have the perfect publisher for my book. In the meantime, I found other ways to offer comfort, love, support, and happiness to grievers. And I spent my time enjoying my life. I even traveled to Bali pre-COVID and available at the time when there was unprecedented grief and loss in so many ways. Now I choose to focus my energy on what I want. I use my energy positively to create the life I desire to live, knowing that my energy will expand where I focus. I focus on solutions instead of on problems. The result? I'm not dealing with problems, and life is good. Thanks for listening, and be sure to order your Grief and Happiness Handbook and cards on Amazon. All profit from these sales go directly to the Grief and Happiness Alliance nonprofit organization to support these podcasts and all that the organization does to provide comfort and support to those who are dealing with grief and loss.
Mahalo. Thank you.